everyone, Connie here with a review of the cool survival indie game Don't Starve, available on Steam. Don't Starve first pits Wilson, an inventor who is forced into an alternate dimension by a mysterious man in a gray suit with no resources taken with him. Wilson must collect the resources around him in order to have a chance to live. Get flint and twigs for an axe. Build an axe. Cut down trees to build a fire when it gets dark, but if you sit alone in the dark too long, you're instantly killed by some mysterious evil. If I had to describe this game in 3 words, I would choose Tim Burton's Minecraft. Story is barely stated in the game, and most of what is known about the plot is known through videos that the producers hid in their website. Wilson was offered secret and forbidden knowledge by a man named Maxwell, who tricks him into building a science machine and strands him in a strange dimension almost like our own, featuring wild and fantastic creatures. While this is an interesting story, it's not much of one, and the fact that it's hidden detracts from it. But Terraria and Minecraft certainly don't have a story, and indeed, I find games like this don't really need much of a backstory. But the one thing that does bother me is a lack of win condition. No ability to escape or in the game or anything. Of course, this is the hallmark of its genre, so I can't fault the game too much, but that still means you may lose interest in the game later on. Each time you start a new file, the game will create a randomized world for you to carve out your meager existence in. There are multiple biomes to explore. Plains contain lots of little rabbits to murder, forests have berries and trees, rocky areas have lots of rocks that you can mine for gold and niter, etc. It may take some time to set up a perfect little home base, but that's part of the challenge. Though it takes some luck, you may have to explore a lot before you find beefaloes for manure to build farms, or spiders to kill and get webs from. That's just kind of the luck of the draw. Gameplay is simple. Survive. Gather what you need, be it berries or carrots to cook and eat. Invent new things with your science machine, like a butterfly net or a spear to fight off those awful hounds that will periodically attack you every few days. It's open-ended, but this is not Minecraft. You will never really progress to the point where you have a 3-story house and a swimming pool and petunias growing out back. Even late game, it still has a wilderness vibe. The first time I played, I lived about 3 days, but if you're good enough, you can keep it going forever. I love the aesthetics of this game. Steampunk and gothic while carrying a whimsical, cartoonish vibe. The beasts in the game, like tree guards and hounds, should be especially lauded, because they scared the jeebies out of me the first time I saw them. And there's a special charm to the inventions the character makes. They all look pretty much like what you would make if you lived in the wilderness. But, like I mentioned before, the game lacks a win condition. Living a certain number of days in the wilderness will give you experience, which unlocks different characters to play with. Since they each have their strengths and weaknesses, this can add a whole new dimension to the game. One character has so many weaknesses, they might as well simply be called the hard mode character. My biggest complaint is that the closest thing this game has to a campaign mode has to be accessed by discovering a door in-game while wandering around, which is undependable and could take forever. I wish they had put that campaign in the main menu instead to make it more accessible. But as long as there are new characters to play as, this game has quite the replay value. With all that being said, let's break down the score. I really can't rate story, as this game and other games in its genre simply rely on plopping the character in situation and leaving them be. Design gets a 7. The game always manages to create a novel environment for you to explore when you start a new world, but you can't always rely on certain resources being available anywhere close by, which I kind of have to count against it. Gameplay gets a 7.5. This is not a game that is completely open-ended, where you have the freedom to build whatever you choose. You are limited to recipes you can unlock, and all the challenge comes from gathering the resources, which is fine, but less engaging than some other games. Presentation gets a 9. I love the look and feel of the characters. From the clumsy pigmen to the little rabbits to the giant beefalo, this is definitely one of the strengths of the game. Replay value gets an 8.5. While its campaign mode is hidden away, it's very challenging and gives the player something to aim for. There isn't a win condition, but lots of characters to unlock, so as long as you don't mind dying a whole lot, there's definitely a lot of game to play. And with that, I give Don't Starve an 8.5 out of 10. It's a fun little adventure, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of fiddling with it between my massive adventures in more robust games. But this is not a particularly engrossing game that you'll remember for years to come.